All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Merely Bo, the Great Z, sun-kissed. Let's go. What a time to be alive this is.
What a time indeed.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm great.
You got your proper
we
plugins that you need? Get yourself a little juice?
We got everything we
this
need.
Is here. We've got the Alpha Dogs helmet is here and ready to go.
They're going to be wearing it.
How do you think that'll pop on that field?
I think it's going to look great. I just think it's unfortunate. Dollar Bill.
Look at him.
It's only unfortunate that it's going to be such a hot day. You know what I mean? Like that would be.
Where are we at? Have we looked at are we in an 85 plus situation?
Yes.
Gibbe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we?
Yeah. That's what Gibbe says.
We may be pushing 90 before it's all said
All
and
right.
done. Now,
So
there could be some cloud cover. There could be some other things.
Before you put out the weather alarms on
Go ahead
Gibbe,
and no.
because let's get an
Let's
AccuWeather
get
read.
AccuWeather. Yeah,
Why
right.
don't you?
I got it.
Maybe it'll rain at 8 o'clock.
We did get.
Maybe I'll get soaked again
we
before
did get a
the game
text.
starts. But hey,
At 8
as long as
a.m.
the sun comes out at kickoff,
Well,
we're
that's what
great.
we
That's all we
said.
said. That's what we
said it'd be good at kickoff. That's it.
Yeah,
It'd be good at
great.
kickoff, and it was.
And it was.
It was a beautiful.
In fact, it was glorious.
Right
It
up
was
until
glorious
we
at kick.
lost.
Yeah, I did get we all were on a text at just past 8 a.m. opening week Sunday.
You're darn
hey,
right.
dummies, it's pouring.
Yeah.
And I said, well, it's 8. Let's see what happens at 1.
All right.
Do you got it?
Yeah, I got a
wanna know where
high
the
of
heads up was.
85.
Ooh.
49% chance of precipitation. If there is any, it's 1/100th of an inch, so it'll be
Just
nothing.
barely.
Winds out of the south-southeast 10 miles an hour, maximum wind gusts of 20 miles per hour. A little bit of cloud cover, about 48%. So a mix of sun and clouds, and 85. This guy's talking 90 over here.
This guy's stuck in.
Stuck at 90 over here. Real feel 82. Come on, man.
This was. I'm excited to see this on the field. We don't have the video game, so normally I would pop this in the video game to see what it looks. I've seen a bunch of people have it out and then what the screen grabs will look like. But I'm really curious to see what it looks. I think we were pretty honest with you. And I was honest and candid when this dropped. I was worried. Brown lid. How's that going to look? But when this dropped and then we saw it on the uniform, it's a good look. It's a strong look.
It is a strong look.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, me too.
Seeing how it looks. And up against the Packers, I assume they will be yellow, white, yellow.
Yep.
Would be my guess from them. They do have an all white.
I wouldn't mind.
They
I'd love
wanted
it.
to.
They should go in the all white. That would be great.
I wish they would. The teams
Vince Conti special, monochromatic. That's all.
mono. He's a big mono guy.
Big.
The waffle, right?
The waffle.
Indeed. I wish there would be a little more coordination when teams wear the special uniform. So this is a big special uniform week in the NFL.
Yep.
The Bills are wearing the Patriots are wearing the Pat the Patriots. We have is Bake and the Bucks are wearing the creamsicles.
Glorious.
But I don't think you're getting the opposing teams matching it. Like I don't even know who the
Everybody should be in
the
beautiful.
Patriots
It should just
wear
be like
this week.
throwback
It's throwback
week.
weekend.
That's what
Yeah.
they should do.
Who do they have this week? New England. Oh, they have Pittsburgh. Bucks have the Jets. Well, the Jets have a throwback.
Yeah, I don't know. Are they wearing it?
I don't know, but they have one. Actually, their uniforms now look like the Ken O'Brien Jets anyway, but they also have the Namath Jets. So actually, the O'Brien Jets would fit with the creamsicles more than even the Namaths were.
Yep.
And then from the Steelers' perspective, their uniforms really haven't changed from the Pat the Patriot days. They're kind of the same.
Yeah, very similar. That's just a classic. It's just a classic one.
That is, yeah. Browns wrapping up practice here in the next couple of minutes. One more practice, of course, until Sunday. Some updates from practice. Let's start at the punter position. Here is Special Teams Coordinator Bubba Ventrone before practice on the availability of punter Corey Bjorquez.
How's his ankle feeling?
He's a little bit nicked up, so we'll see how he progresses throughout the week.
Sunday?
Like I said, we'll see how it goes today.
Well, do we have another punter?
Not currently.
Not that I'm aware of.
Cole!
The great Cole.
Oh, my God.
He's
that's
only
amazing.
he's only a phone call away.
Let me text him.
Kev, get the Rocky Top music ready.
Cole.
Rough week for
Find
him.
out.
But
Find out if he's been contacted.
Because that did not sound like.
that didn't sound promising. That's why I put it in.
All right. Text between you, me, and Cole. I'm just texting
let's do
him.
it. Do it.
Would you be available to punt Sunday if called upon?
Yes. The answer is yes. He's been hitting bombs into the Gulf.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Missiles.
Yeah.
Rockets.
Yeah.
All right, so I look forward to the response from Cole on that.
He's ready.
What do you make of that answer to that, though? I mean, we're having a little fun with Cole here, but I mean, like,
We didn't bring in anybody else yet.
no, so I think he's fine.
That makes
right?
he finished the game. I would imagine that it's gotten better since then. That would be my read of it. It's gotten better since that moment.
Yeah, you would think if we were in dire straits, Cole maybe
Somebody
would
would
be
be
here.
Somebody would be here.
Somebody would be here punting. Yeah, like you can't.
Here's the thing. Like,
Not
he
a
got
punter.
clocked.
Because it's got to be somebody who would be on your practice. You'd have to have somebody on your practice squad to elevate.
Right.
It wasn't his kicking leg, thank God.
Correct.
But, like, he did come back and, like, literally put 2 in the corner inside, like, the 10-yard line after it happened.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I assumed fine, but I thought that answer was.
I didn't like that.
That answer makes you double think it a little bit there. A couple updates from practice. Joel Bitonio not practicing again today. Is this Joel himself giving us an update? Here's Joel himself giving us an update.
It's all right. You know, I got full speed in the game there, and it locked up on me a little bit, but I'm working through it. So it's a little bit better today than it was yesterday, so it's improvement.
Joel's just like this giant rhino.
He's like,
all I need is by the time I get to Sunday, can he rumble down the savannah?
Tomorrow.
And if the answer to that's yes.
If he's practicing tomorrow,
he will be. Don't worry.
Even if he doesn't, I don't care. Just he'll be fine on Sunday.
He will be.
That's where we are with
He'll be ready to go.
the great Joel Bitonio. Mike Hull Jr. on the bike for practice today, and then DeAndre Carter returned in a limited capacity on that side of things. On the Green Bay side of things, Micah Parsons off the injury report. There was no real inclination that he wouldn't play, and so you will get their best as it comes on Sunday. So, relatively healthy heading into this one.
Yeah, and the question that they're asking right now and that they're trying to assess, or what they're asking in Green Bay, is, does this mean that he's not going to be limited? Because even as good as their defense has been overall, and believe me, folks, it has been spectacular, they've allowed just 3.7 yards per play in 2025, going against 2 teams, Detroit and Washington, who have averaged 7.7 yards a play in the games not against the Packers this year. Jeez. So they've been quite good. They're even better when Micah Parsons is on the field. They've allowed 3.2 yards per play when he's on the field, 4.3 yards a play when he's not on the field. And this seems to be the first game where they think that he can actually go and be full go.
Next level's next. I didn't need to hear that.
Well, you've heard it.
We don't need that, do we?
No, we don't need it.
We don't need that. Look, this was when you go back to when the schedule dropped for us and you played the schedule game and you looked at the start of the schedule, you said
you knew it was going to be hard.
This was going to be heavy lifting, which is why we were so bitter after the loss to Cincinnati, because you had it. You did everything that you needed to do and you couldn't finish it, and it were these several things that happened that were all kind of had nothing to do with kind of game flow that resulted in that loss. But you needed that one in the most desperate way, because you knew that Baltimore was going to be a full day coming out of the Buffalo game. And then, to be honest, we didn't know Green Bay would be this good. We knew they'd be good. You and I were both big fans of them this summer. We knew
all
that
have
they
in
would
the
be
Super
squad.
Bowl. Yeah.
But that was with Parsons, but I liked him there even before. As well, but you liked him getting there before they added Parsons, so you knew it was going to be a full day. Now you add Parsons to that mix. You got Detroit next week. It's the worst stretch of to start a season for any team in the league. I'd put it up against anybody.
And that's why getting the game against Cincinnati put it so that if you could just swipe one of the next 3, which were going to be very difficult, you then had a chance to be 2-2 through 4, and if you could be 3-3 through 6. You were on your way to having a good season, and now it's just it's going to be tough, because once you get 3 games or 4 games under 500, if that is the way that these games go, which is, we're not saying that's how we think they're going to go, but that's Las Vegas does. Vegas would say that we are going to lose this game and that we are going to lose in Detroit. That then it's just it's tough to climb out of that. It's tough to get back to 500 when you're well below. So that was an important one in week 1, and it just starts you off in such a better spot. And now it's going to be tough. And this is a great football team with absolutely no weaknesses, and they play a brand of defense that is zone heavy 80% zone. They're going to go ahead and they're going to rush with their 4, drop 7 into coverage. They give up no big plays, like none. And then they're really good on offense. They're good. It's a good football team.
Yeah, you do. If you do best teams in the NFL right now, it's them, Baltimore, Buffalo, Philly. Like that's the
Chargers.
list. And Chargers are just
They haven't trailed.
They haven't. I just need to. The same would be true of Indy. I just need to see them. They're a show me state team. I'm all big
That's
on them.
fine.
Big on them. I think they're going to win that division.
They slumped the Raiders.
They did. They bombed them. Was 20-6 or something like that.
Yeah. It was a slumping.
But they need to. You got a nice win. They are slight favorites this week. The Chargers.
Who are they playing?
Denver. 1.5.
They are slight favorites.
If they take care of business, I think it's 1.5. If they take care of business
in Denver,
it's at their place.
It's in L.A.
Which that number made me. I was a little surprised.
I don't know if I got that one right. There were a couple yesterday that I was off.
Segura
by
went on
points.
like a 7-game losing streak
6.
and 6.
But then
they needed
rallied?
it at the end, but he was money on the Sunday night and Monday night.
Yeah, hit them both right on the number, which was massive.
Good job out of you.
Massive. I was nervous. I was shaking. I'd lost my confidence.
Now we got an update from Cole.
Yeah.
So hopefully Corey's great. We assume that he will be. Otherwise,
he's
another
ready.
punter would be
He's
there.
ready if we need him.
But if you would care to play the role of Cole here,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead
would.
with his response.
Heck yeah. Not in all pro form, but I can get there, buddy. Yes.
Oh, the great Cole.
That's great.
Oh, he's ready. You and Bai both love that tweet at the same time. The great Cole. Slinging real estate on 30A, living
He's
his best
unbelievable.
life. Yeah, he was an all-timer, man. Love that guy. But yeah, that's why it was. And you know, when you have that, that's why these starts are so critical. I had that stat about 12% of teams that go 0-2 don't make the playoffs, or make the playoffs. Just 12% of them make the playoffs with just an 0-2 start, which is crazy when you think of a 16 and now 17 game schedule. That start is so critical, but it is, and probably the best example of it is in Cincinnati.
Yep.
Where they, we just talked about how much damage it did for us. Their win in week 1. And then they backed it up by winning at home in Jacksonville. They now have a cushion. If Burrow,
They should be 0-2.
Of course they should be. If Burrow can come back in December, what they basically need from Jake Browning, who was a 70% passer last year when he played for them, what they basically need is 500.
Yep.
If he can be 500 for the next 8 to 10 games, they're right there. So that's the job.
For sure. The question will be, can they be?
Yeah.
They have a pretty tough schedule.
They do. Yes.
I mean,
it gets easier here in the middle. Like they got Minnesota this week with.
So they catch a break there.
They're
They're catching on breaks left and right.
Yeah,
they get a phantom flag last week. They get our kicker missing this week. Yeah, I got it right here. The Bengals go.
It's not as difficult as it looked. Probably
it's not that easy. So you said it's not that hard. I don't think it's an easy stretch.
All right, give it to me. So you
at
catch a break
Minnesota,
with Minnesota. Yep.
At Denver.
They don't look as great as they did though a month and a half ago. Denver. They've been kind of sluggish, but we'll see.
At Denver, still a tough place to play on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Home Lions.
Okay.
At Green Bay.
Ooh.
Home Steelers. Which I'm not sure if that's hard. That's on a Thursday night
who's
though
the
after the
sixth
Green
one?
Bay.
The sixth one's easy. It's like the Jets.
Then it goes home Jets, home Bears.
Home
That's
Jets,
nice.
home Bears.
Then it gets real tough. At Steelers.
Yep.
Home Patriots.
Yep.
At Ravens. At Bills. Home Ravens.
Yeah. So before that Ravens stretch, that tranche of games, they have to be around 500. But the reason you can even have that conversation is because they started 0-2 or 2-0. If they're 0-2, then there's no point. Like they're not getting there with that schedule. But they got 2 in the bank, and so they can keep their head above water.
So when you look at their schedule, and yes, you're right, the 2-0, it's a massive thing, but I don't know that they're that good. I really don't. I don't know.
Cincinnati?
I don't think they're very good.
No, they're not.
They should be
They're not that
0-2.
good. They have a great defensive player in Trey Hendrickson who makes some timely plays, and they have arguably the best weapon in football, in the best receiving core and those things, but they don't block it well, and Jake Browning's a big step back from Burrow, obviously. So, no, not. But do they have enough where their weaponry keep them around 500 for when Burrow comes back? That's playing.
Heard from sources
Okay. Oh.
that he is not coming back.
That's just devastating if that
Would be
happens
that would
for
be
them. It's just
awful.
absolutely cataclysmic if they get to a point where it's December and he can't go. So I didn't realize, somebody in Columbus told me this morning, that that's what undid Archie Griffin in Cincinnati was turf toe.
It's also what undid Arian Foster.
Yeah.
And he said his toe was not right for 5 years.
Jeez. Yeah.
They need to come with a new name for it. Should be like,
yeah, you're right. That it doesn't do it justice. Why can't it just be broken toe?
Because it's not. It's more than that. Ligaments are separated and like it's
dislocated toe.
It's just basically like just
devastated
toe.
Catastrophic toe.
Catastrophic toe. He's got catastrophic toe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catastrophic toe. That's what it is.
It's complete annihilation of the toe. Yeah.
Oh,
cat
I like
toe.
It. And then it's got the double entendre.
Exactly.
I like it. Good job out of you.
Yep.
Head to your local Myers, scan the Hillshire Farms QR code in the meat department. Buy one smoked sausage, get one 50% off now until September 30th for a chance to win a suite for 10 to the Steelers game on December 28th. By the way, those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. It is a match-up day. It is also a mailbag day here on Cleveland Browns Daily. Get your questions into
get some Bobby after he was shunned last week.
At Browns_Daily. We could take those in the YouTube stream as well. The matchup will begin coming up next. Our defense against the Packers offense. We're off and running. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, we got something exciting here for you. Play the Ohio Lottery's new $5 Win Big scratch off for a chance to win $100,000. If you don't win, just scan that ticket for a second chance to win big. Enter the Big Game second chance promotion to win great pro football prizes, including Cleveland game tickets, even tickets to the biggest football game of the year. If football is your passion, Win Big is your game, and it's only from the Ohio Lottery. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly. Go to your favorite Ohio Lottery retailer today. Get your hands on the new $5 scratch off. It's called Win Big. And if you don't win the $100,000, you can enter to win game tickets and other prizes. Get yours today at your favorite Ohio Lottery retailer. And remember, play responsibly. Time for the matchup, our defense versus the Packers offense. Let's start from our side of the matchup. Here's defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz.
First of all, what do you see?
You guys are down 7 minutes.
He feels like one of the workhorse kind of guys in the league where a bunch of guys are splitting carries.
Yeah, that's very accurate. A lot of people use different kind of backs for different situations, and they use all their backs generally in some pass protection and some lead blocker type roles. But Jacobs is their lead ball carrier and sort of a old school full-time running back. Breaks a lot of tackles, really strong, great contact balance, and really, really good vision. He presses the hole as good as any running back, if not better than any running back in the league. And we got to be really physical at the line, and we can't peek out of gaps because he can find those holes and find creases that way.
So aggressive from the first drive on pushing the ball downfield. It seems it's very aggressive.
I mean, that's just built into what they do. I mean, when it's all said and done, they're first and second down. They're a run, play action team, and when they play action, they want to take shots. And you look at Love and look at his completion percentage, and it's not eye-popping the way some guys are. There's a lot of guys 75%, 70%, and it's not that he's an inaccurate passer. It's reflective of how many deep shots he takes, and they're very surgical with those. They use their run to set up that stuff. It doesn't work if you're not a good running offense, and it goes back to Jacobs. Their run creates their opportunities to push the ball down the field on those first and second downs, and that's just sort of built into the way they do things.
And Mitchell, had to step in for Denzel, and the Ravens kind of got him on a couple of those touchdowns. What are the teaching points, if any, for a lot of those scores?
Well, when we don't have Denzel, obviously it's a difference for us. But, our guys that step in the game have to be trusted to execute the scheme. He had a rough day. He's played good football for us in the past. He had a rough day in this game. It, needs to bounce back from that.
You get Cam Mitchell to bounce back after a game like that?
A lot of DBs is technique, awareness, and then confidence. And, I think that there were a couple plays that he was behind, and could have recognized a little bit quicker. So I think that's part of it. And then confidence means an awful lot. The thing is that if it's life in the big city for a corner, right? If a corner makes a mistake, everybody in the stadium knows, everybody watching the TV knows, and that's something you have to live with. If a defensive tackle makes those same three mistakes, whether it's technique, awareness, anything else, it might go unnoticed and nobody really knows. But those guys live with that every day. They're out on an island. Everybody can see. I mean, you're a kicker. Everybody knows if you missed a kick or not. You're a corner. Everybody knows if you accomplished your coverage or not. Quarterbacks live in that spotlight. So we got to keep our confidence. We can't let one bad day roll into two, roll into three. And, he needs to bounce back from that.
It's real early, I know that, but are you at all looking back to last year, are you at all concerned that the heavy lifting your defense is doing now will take its toll?
I don't know. I mean, that's what we're expected to do. We're expected to go out and get stops and keep the score down and, set the offense up. And, last week for 3 quarters, I was pretty happy with that. We finished horribly. And, and to quote Myles Garrett, that I'd take it a little bit different. The end of that game was embarrassing for us. But up until then, I mean, Derrick Henry's a tough out. And, we took that part of the game away. We took Lamar's legs away for the most part. We had really good day on third down. We gave up 3 third downs in the game. One was the first one, shallow, just made the first down. Another one was a quarterback sneak, or tight end quarterback sneak. And then the other one was the play that Lamar scrambled around, was sort of getting hit when he threw and found that guy down the field and, made that play. And, there's going to be some plays in there that you got to tip your hat to the opponent. And Lamar Jackson's one of those guys. You tip your hat to him, go on to the next play. But accomplishing those things, I thought we did a good job. We were generating pressure, keeping the quarterback from scrambling for yards. And, we didn't hold up on some of the shots down the field. But it was probably a little bit the most disappointing in that game is our opportunities for turnovers. Had one ball in our hands, tipped it, wasn't able to come down with that. Had a ball on the ground, didn't come up with that. We got to concentrate on playing hard, playing physical, and doing our jobs. And we can come back with those. We had a couple of good stops backed up to set our offense up. But we need those game-changing plays, and we don't need to search those game-changing plays. We need to make the plays that come to us.
It's on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, but my question is, do you have to, about Denzel and him cramping again, and if so, what can you guys even do during the week to try to...
Yeah, hopefully that's a one-off. Our nutrition staff and our trainers and things like that generally handle those kind of things. But, it's a little bit... I'm going to speak out of my lane here, but in my experience in the NFL, like cramping and stuff like that is a little bit like seasickness. Like you can go out 9 times and not cramp and then not get seasick, and all of a sudden the 10th time. I mean, I've been on some fishing trips where the first mate who does it for a living all of a sudden gets seasick, and it's not because any other reason. I don't know how to describe it, but things happen in the game. It's a football. Right? Whether it's cramping, whether it's injuries, there's a million different things that can happen. I just think it puts a stronger spotlight on our backup players, our reserves, being relied on to come in and make those plays when somebody goes out. It's not if somebody goes out, it's when they come out. But I'll leave that to our guys that handle those kind of things. I'll worry about run defense, pass defense, and third down and things like that. And let those people let our people who are experts in that stuff handle that.
That was defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz from the podium. It was presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Now for the other side of that matchup from the Packers side, here's head coach Matt LaFleur on what he sees from this Browns defense.
Obviously, we talked about Myles Garrett, but the rest of the D-line is pretty good, obviously, with Collins and those guys. What have you seen from that group?
A very disruptive unit. They get off the ball, create a lot of carnage from the offensive line perspective. They do a great job, and they play with relentless effort. So I think that's one of the, they're something that they can hang their hat on is just how hard they play for 4 quarters.
As you've gotten into the tape this week, the Cleveland cornerback safety group in particular, what have you seen from their play?
Yeah, they're really good. Really good players across really their whole defense. That's a big reason they're the top-ranked defense in football right now. So obviously I think a lot of it starts with their front, and it's not just Myles. We all know what kind of player that Myles Garrett is, but they've got a lot of guys that are hard-penetrating front that caused a lot of problems for quarterbacks, and I think that allows the DBs to kind of tee off on some things. And but they'll also play aggressive man coverage too. So it's a really well-coached unit, and we're going to have our best game offensively.
All right, time now for our first matchup. It's presented by Ballybet. Ballybet Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly. It is our defense against the Green Bay Packers offense. For the breakdown, we turn it over to Dr. Z.
Well, this is going to be a tough one so far this year. The Packers are very efficient, running for over 100 yards a game, throwing for about 335 total, 27 points a game, one of 4 teams in the NFL to average 27 points a game last year and do that through the first 2 games again this year. Have they turned the ball over yet this year? No, they have not turned the football over at all this season. Running game led by Josh Jacobs. He once led the National Football League in rushing yards, a year where he had 2022. He was the NFL's rushing leader, 1,653 yards, 12 touchdowns. He has rushed for a touchdown in 10 straight regular season games, 11 straight games overall, which puts him now, that is the fourth longest streak of all time. LaDainian Tomlinson had 12 straight games in 2004. Emmitt Smith had 13 straight in 94 into 95, and then 14 straight in 95.
Jeez.
So this is pretty
heady,
good.
buddy.
Yep. No, those are just hops above him there. So he's been effective getting into the end zone so far. The Browns have been, we gave up a rushing touchdown in week 1. We've been pretty stingy since. Stingy certainly in terms of yards, but they can throw it as well. Jordan Love, 66% completions, 480 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Last week, 19 completions, went for 292 yards. His rating on the season is 120. They spread it around. You've got a lot of guys who have caught the football for them. In fact, Matthew Golden's caught it. Dontavian Wicks has caught it. Malik Heath has caught it. Savion Williams has caught it. Romeo Doubs has caught it. Tucker Kraft's caught it. Luke Musgrave, John Fitzpatrick. And then out of the backfield, Chris Brooks has caught the football as well as Josh Jacobs. 9 different players have caught the football for them. That wide receivers and tight ends, 11 total when you add in the running backs. That's the most wide receivers and tight ends, 9 who have caught a football for a team so far this season. So they spread it out. They're getting healthier on the line. They should have Zach Tom back, who was out last week with an oblique, and Aaron Banks back last week with an ankle. Their tight end, Tucker Kraft, is a stud. 8 catches, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns so far this season. And Kraft is an after-the-catch machine. Most yards after the catch per reception in the NFL, period. Receivers included, since 2024, start of last season, 9.6. Deebo Samuel, second, 8.2. Jamison Williams, third, 8. Khalil Shakur, fourth, 7.8. This is a tight end, folks. So he has been, that's pretty impressive. In fact, the next closest tight end is 6.8 yards after the catch per reception, and that is Kittle out in San Francisco. So this is a good team. South Dakota State, third season, was a third-round pick. That's right.
That's something.
They picked him in 23. The year before that, they picked Luke Musgrave in 22, and then John Fitzpatrick was also drafted in that 22 draft by Atlanta. They brought him in. So they play a lot of 12 personnel, 43% of the time, 5th most in the league. They use shift and motion as much as anybody, 72.4% of their snaps, 6th most in the league. It's just a good offense. They can run it. They marry the run and the pass very effectively. Now our defense has been very good. Number 1 in total yards per game, number 1 in rush yards per game, number 1 in first downs allowed, and number 1 in opponent 3-and-out percentage. So they have done a great job. Last week, they held the Ravens to 45 rushing yards. That is the fewest rushing yards by Baltimore since Week 16 of 2021 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Browns are doing very, very well. So that is good to see, but you need more. And where's the one area we have not produced? Takeaways. We don't have a single takeaway so far. So far, no takeaways for us, no turnovers for them. And I think if we're going to win this game, we're going to need to take the football away.
Yeah, it's interesting how they built this offense. Jacobs, obviously, with trade. They've drafted some of these guys. No one has really developed. Kraft's become a stud, obviously, and you were on him right away. But nobody else in the receiver core has kind of separated. Like if you
Jaden Reed was, but he's going to be out this week.
Too. Yeah,
he's been over 900 total yards each of his 2 years in the league. Last year led the team 855, 857, and 6 touchdowns. He also is good. They give him the ball as a runner. He has 163 yards rushing and a touchdown in his career. So he's the guy, but out with the collarbone. So Matthew Golden, they drafted in the first round this year, was very productive, obviously, at Texas. So far this season, though, just 2 receptions for 16 yards on the year. So they've not gotten much out of him. They're going to need him to really step up.
Yeah, I guess what I meant at the receiver thing is it felt like the way that they always had great quarterbacks, they always had like a franchise receiver, going all the way back to Sterling Sharp or Devontae Adams. Antonio Freeman was that for a little while. Robert Brooks was that. Greg Jennings.
Yep.
Feels like they've always had like an A-list receiver, and maybe he was headed to that point. But you're right. I mean, the last couple of years he's led them in receiving, but it's been low. I mean, it's pretty wild. Their leading receivers the last 3 years: Lazard 788. Jaden Reed, 793. Jaden Reed, 857. And then Kraft is leading this year. Before that, Devontae just had some massive seasons. And then, Donald Driver, a lot of guys through the years that have had massive seasons. So they really spread it out. It's a tough attack to be able to attack, and Love's coming into his own. So all of those things make it for a very difficult matchup, although our defense has been among the very best in the National Football League. Coming up next, one of the men who's off to a hell of a start on the coaching staff is our good buddy Jason Tarver. He coaches linebackers, and they have been very, very from them and him. Coming up next, you listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Daily brought to you by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Couldn't be happier now to have the greatest friend of the program walking on God's green earth, one and only our linebacker coach, Jason Tarver. Coach, great to be with you.
Great to see you as always.
All right, 0-2, we know that. So we have not gotten the results we wanted. But the fact of the matter is, on your side of the football, Browns are the number one defense in the National Football League through 2 weeks, and that's after going against the reigning number one passing offense, the reigning number one rushing offense, and in fact, you guys did something against the Ravens that's never been done while Derrick Henry's there. You 36 yards combined for the two of them, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. The week before, they had 239. How was your group helping this defense get that done?
Well, we got two things that we talk about all the time. You've heard it from Coach Schwartz. Is one, our job is to be the nerve center of the defense, to get the calls, get everybody lined up, keep everybody chill, and then when the ball's snapped, fit correctly. Against that last team, we needed to fit correctly. And then, obviously, you got to use your hands to get off of blocks and makes plays. So we did that. That's one, is being the nerve center. And two is being the director of physicality. We need to finish in the pile. And going forward, we got to get even better. It should look like we have more than 11 defensive humans flying around making plays. So we're excited to see how that goes, and we're going to need it even more this week. Every week in the NFL, you play a great back who's good at breaking tackles. So we got to get as many of us there as we can and attack the ball when we do.
Yeah, well, we've had a tough – our schedule is uniquely challenging in that regard. As you get Derrick Henry, and you talked about earlier, was to get him early in his runs where he can get that downhill momentum. And now here comes another guy who's led the league in rushing, in Josh Jacobs. What makes him effective, and is he – what's kind of the differences between him and Derrick Henry, and how do you have to attack him?
Well, he does a great job of running his feet through contact and staying alive. He's got really good vision, so he can get into a hole and then slip back and forth and run his feet. So we have to be able to surround him and get his cleats out of the ground, because it sounds simple, but you can't run without your legs.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to get his legs out of the ground, and then when he's in the piles trying to push us, we got to get as many people as we can to the ball all the time. We got to finish in the pile, and I'm excited to see us do that as a defense.
How challenging is it in your room, especially when you're going against a team, where LaFleur is from kind of that Shanahan-Kubiak tree? So the goal is to full linebackers. It is to marry the run and pass, make runs look like passes, passes look like runs. The good news is we see a lot of that here, but how much of a challenge does that present? And a team also that, by the way, has a very good tight end who is explosive after the catch.
Yeah, they've the two young tight ends that they drafted the same year just keep getting better and better. So starting with that, but starting with the marriage of the run and the pass, these type of offenses, they want to stay balanced. Our job is to take one of the two away.
Yep.
So we got to get, like we just talked about, how to stop the run. And that comes from all of us, all 11 on the field, whatever 11's on the field. And then in the pass game, you got to keep the deep shots off you, because they marry the two. So for us as linebackers, it's about reading our keys, and it's about knowing where we are in the formation and where to look through. So we key the back and we feel the line, and we run that all our practice reps, and that's what we live, and we go one play at a time. So we've studied, obviously, their runs and their passes, and then now it's applying it to the best of our ability while going and dealing with their motions. What this system does is they run it's somewhere up there. I don't know the numbers on what it is in the league. Doesn't matter. They're going to motion almost every play and shift. And they're complex motions and shifts to try to get our eyes wrong or get us a little bit out of position, not just linebackers, everybody, right? And one thing that, of course, can help us with that is the dog pound. So this week, we need that noise against this team, because they're highly specific plays with shifts and motions, and it's harder to do when we're at home.
All right, so be loud. You heard that right there. Let's talk about the guys in your room who have really been sensational. Carson Schlesinger, we'll start with him as a rookie to be, the green dot and go head-to-head with Joe Burrow week 1, head-to-head with Lamar Jackson week 2, and now he's going to get Jordan Love up this week, Jared Goff next week. He's going to get Aaron Rodgers later on. It's a kind of a gauntlet to start your career, but so far he's really done a great job.
He's staying in the moment. He's really good at that. You've heard that from me when I speak in the media or whatever. It's just next play is his best play, and he focuses like that. He can think about what's coming next. He asks really good questions, but it never as long as he stays in that mindset and just keeps finishing in the pile, and then when that play's gone, he thinks of information real quick, he puts it away. And that's the strength of a veteran that we're seeing in a young player, and it's really exciting to be around, not just for me, for the whole group.
when you get to go, and obviously I don't know how much of it you're watching, or even if after the game if you do watch, but when you see a guy like Roquan Smith on the other side, and obviously that's what Carson aspires to be, and he had a pretty big game against us, the Defensive Player of the Week. Is that something where you say that's where you want to get? Because there were plays clearly he knew what was coming and was able to diagnose it, but that comes with, I think, so much experience, right?
Roquan's a great player. I think as you go, each individual that we have wants to be the best version of himself. And so, yeah, you look at those things, but, comparing numbers, sometimes the numbers come just from your hustle.
Yep.
And sometimes the numbers come because the ball was thrown in front of you a little bit more based off the scheme. So tackle numbers are going to vary, but it's about what you do when you get around the ball. It's attacking the ball and getting the ball out, and when there's a chance to get it, getting it. And that's what makes the difference. So as you look at that production, yeah, we want to be there, and that's where we all want to go, but we don't compare. We worry about ourselves.
Absolutely. And one guy who was really, he's doing it all for you is Devin Bush. This is a former first-round pick. This is former Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. I remember you and I talked last year that, this was a new scheme for him. Well, now it's year 2, and you could tell the guy is just flat out playing fast. He's everywhere. He's in the backfield making plays. He's hitting the quarterback, sacking the quarterback. He's getting his hands on the ball in passing lanes. Probably wants to have an interception, and maybe that's going to come very soon. Led the team in tackles. He looks like a first-round pick again out there.
Very proud of Devin for the reasons that you just said. The second year in the system, he continues to get better week in and week out, and giving himself to us in the system. What I mean by that is he hasn't been played in this system till he got here.
Yep.
You can be a little wider. You can do some things to use his speed, and then really trust in the techniques. We talk a lot about what the quarterbacks are looking at and how to set up and how to break in our vision zones, and then we have some other things we do different. But Devin's really taken to that. You can really see him trusting it, and you see the explosiveness. And he's done a great job getting his body ready too. So Devin's doing really well. And Devin, you got to keep doing this. Okay, Devin, working with everybody else, helping make the calls. He's been great in the middle of Carson. Maybe is in the middle a little more, and he's on an edge, helping Grant and the corners and everybody talk to everybody on his side with quick little signals and noticing different splits. He's been great at picking up the little things because now he knows the system better. So keep doing that, Devin. We need it.
Well, it's got to be helpful, too. He's been a Mike his whole life as well. And so you basically get to have 2 Mikes out there, which is a great thing.
Yeah, we've been real fortunate. And what happens when you get, for Devin, he got to play last year all the linebacker positions.
Yep.
So now if he gets into one of them, he's seen it before. And so it is like having those Mikes. So is Mahmoud. And Bake's learning it. Bake's getting all the position going too. Jerome. So we'd like to get to where we have positionless linebackers, and we're on our way there.
Yeah, well, we play. Listen, we're in 2 linebackers a lot of the times, but you mentioned Jerome Baker. He's gotten out there. Mahmoud Diabate as well. Diabate coming back off that injury that cost him a lot of training camp in the offseason. How are those 2 guys kind of mixing in with your 2, what I would call at this point, your 2 horses in Carson and Dev?
Well, you play certain teams, and there's more. Sometimes you use more base for us, so that's 3 linebackers, as we know, but there was a lot of extra linebackers in the last game, and those 2 in their snaps performed really well. We don't say 100%, we say 99.9. So they were 99.9 in their snaps. Jerome had 17 and Mahmoud had 9. There was a certain play that the first team ran that we knew the second team would do something like that, and it was in Mahmoud's area, and he covered it perfectly. It was just awesome because it's what we practiced came to fruition. There are no perfect calls. There's only perfect execution. Was that near the goal line? It was near the goal line, yes, sir.
I noticed that. That was noted on the broadcast.
It was really good. I figured it might be.
That was noted on the broadcast. Yes,
so those corrections and being able to week in and week out know how you were attacked, and even though people are going to change the formations, there's a lot of times they're going to try to do the same thing or attack the same player. And so it's our job, especially when you're coming off the bench. It's like a relief pitcher that comes in specialty, here comes a lefty to face a lefty or whatever it is. Like, you got to be ready in those situations for whatever's happened to you in your rules.
Yep.
And those 2 were last week, and we need that to continue, and we expect it will.
Really, I think kind of the only area for this defense to keep improving on what we've seen over the first 2 weeks, because you guys had a 4-quarter stretch against the Bengals and the Ravens where you gave up 88 yards. That's kind of hard to believe. It was 7 yards in the second half against the Bengals,
right.
81 yards in the first half against the Baltimore Ravens. That's shocking. It feels like somebody's playing Madden against somebody who never played Madden before, or college football in case of Jordan back there when we were at the Greenbrier.
I haven't
but
played
that's
in a while,
neither
but I
here
would
nor
blitz
there.
a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. takeaways, right? That's the next step. This defense is doing everything else, harassing the quarterbacks, getting off the field, takeaways. I know you stress it. It's one of those things, maybe that's how the ball bounces. How do we get the football away from our opponents?
Well, it's like we talked a little bit about the running back in this week. When you're the second, third, fourth, fifth man to get near the ball, you got to be thinking attack the ball. That's one. Because there's different ways, right? You said it correctly. It's takeaways. We got to take the thing away.
Yep.
So you can take it away by hitting somebody so hard that the ball falls out. But you got to have techniques as you get around it. Yes, the punch, everybody calls it peanut punch. We say the same thing, the punch. The front tip rip or the rake, when you can get the front tip of because they're taught equal claw and ball security right there, right?
Yep.
Okay. You got to get the front tip and rip it apart. When you're coming from behind, underneath punch, the hammer top down. And we give them names on purpose, and we say, why'd you use what it was? Now, we practice it all the time, but like we said, in a game, we got to keep attacking the ball in the pile. Cam had a good one. The back kind of got through, and then he finished with the punch, got the ball out. We just need more and more and more of those. The more they run it, the more chances we get to take the ball away. So some of that is, you just gave the yard numbers. I didn't know all that. We're off the field so quick that there's less plays.
Sure.
But if as it goes through a season and there's more, and we want to get off the field as fast as we can. 3 and out's a takeaway too.
Absolutely.
So if we're off the field, we don't get as many chances. If we do start getting more chances, we just got to make sure we're finishing. When the ball's in the air, we have to affect the quarterback so that he doesn't stay in rhythm, so that it goes higher or lower or around, and that's how you get the other kind, the interceptions. So what we got to say is, no matter how many you get, it's got to be any chance you get to attack the ball, we got to attack the ball.
Yeah.
I finished every text to the linebackers in our text chain with ATB with a football pitcher. Every single one of them.
Attack
and
the ball.
We got to make that our lives.
ATB. I like that. Coach, you're the absolute best. Good luck on Sunday. Always love spending time with you, and let's go get those Packers.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Go Browns.
I wrote that down, as I do everything, that when he goes, he's just so passionate, he's so infectious. ATB, attack the ball.
Attack the ball.
So great. Here's the cool thing about him, folks. He's like that when you're not recording.
Yeah.
He's never not like that.
Never.
That's him.
Yep.
Always.
Yep.
Mountain of positivity. Inspirational always. Glasses half full always. He's just a great dude to have around, man. He's just
he's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We were talking before we went on the air, and I was commenting on how great the turf was in Baltimore. It was
like the grass.
The grass. Yeah, it was like, it felt like walking a fairway at Augusta. I mean, it was
pristine. It was
perfect.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I just wanted to drop a bunch of golf balls and start taking pure divots.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just wanted to tackle somebody. He's like, I hope the cameras were on for that.
You know what I'm surprised with, real quick here, for as we got a couple of minutes, we were talking about cat toe, as we're calling it, catastrophic toe.
Catastrophic toe.
That has taken out Joe Burrow. I am, a lot of people say, well, why don't more NFL teams have grass instead of turf? Finance. Simple. It's much cheaper to have turf. You install it once. You don't have to touch it for a long time, and you can have multiple events there, and you don't have to worry about covering it or protecting it or maintaining it or anything. So it's just a financial decision to go with turf over grass. But the thing that I also was curious about got me thinking, I wonder why turf hasn't gotten better. Why hasn't it gotten more like grass? Like, we lived in a world where it was AstroTurf.
It has come a long way.
That was carpet on cement.
I know. I saw.
And
we
now,
watched that episode, the poor playmaker's career.
Right, it did. Right. But then we've had field turf for about 20 years now.
Yeah.
It's about the same as it was when it came out, from what I can tell. And I'm just surprised they haven't gotten something that mimics grass more closely, but they haven't.
How could you have something that mimics grass when grass comes up out of, you can displace it?
We can mimic a human.
You can't displace it.
AI can mimic humans.
Sure.
We can create them.
Oh,
we got robot docs running around.
I got the answer. I'm dialed in.
You did?
Oh, yeah. And I was actually, my initial guess was correct.
I can't even remember your initial guess. I can't wait to get to break to get the answer on this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, turns out we're right at
very good.
Hour, so.
Elk and Elk, serious lawyers, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Second hour of the program coming up next. A little bit of a mailbag in there. I see Bobby's already up. He's up and working.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be ignored again.
He's not going to have it. He's even doing playing nice with you. He's doing all the things that are required. So you have that. We'll do the other side of the matchup too. This Browns offense against what is a lights out Packers defense. That will lead off the hour. That's coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Add more fun to your fandom with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Download today. Get 50 back in bonus bets. You place that first wager of 10 or more. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to head to the podium, presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Here is offensive coordinator Tommy Reese.
When Sean looked,
You guys are down about 8 minutes.
kind of the exceed expectations, max expectations, and what's next for him?
Yeah, tried not to set expectations going into it, right? We felt like he did the things during the week to get him a role there going into the game. Obviously, as he gets back and going, hope to, see where that role can take him and expand on it. But for really not having a ton of work leading up to it, we were pleased with how he went out there and performed both mentally and physically. And, as he gets back into the flow of feeling the runs and just being integrated back with the group and the offensive line, we expect him to continue to develop. And as a young player, that's what you're looking for. And, that's our expectation with him right now. So pleased to have him back, pleased the way he's working. He brings a certain intensity to the group that I think is a real positive. So happy with where he's at.
Flacco's game, can you just talk about his game overall and the outlook for this week?
Yeah, never really got into a rhythm, never got into sync with the guys, whether it was, us not getting the right pre-snap look or just being off kilter, pressure, whatever it was, just never got into a rhythm. I think the quarterback position is so important to get into the flow of the game, to be able to feel confident in what you're doing while you're back there. The week before, I felt like he did get into a rhythm early. You have that long drive, you have early success, which I think is important. So as coaches, it's how do we get him into that? How do we make sure that we're being clear during the week on the different things we're trying to get to pre-snap? And, because when he is in a rhythm, he'll hit a bunch in a row, and we've seen that. So it's our job to put him in that position.
With that, just watching the game, it looked like the Ravens covered the receivers tightly. So my question is, what can be done to gain separation for those guys?
Yeah, I think as a staff, we got to do a good job of putting those guys in the right positions, giving them different looks and different structures offensively to make sure that we're putting them in advantageous spots. We have talented guys that can go win. They've shown to do that. So, it's our job to put them in those spots.
Speaking of receivers, it looked like Sed got knocked down a couple times, fell down, and he got up looking for flags. Did you think there should have been penalties, or does he need to be more physical, through the contact?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter with the penalties. You can send in the report, and you almost worse when they tell you they should have thrown it, right? But no, we just want to hone in on the fundamentals, right? Our job, what we can control, is making sure that fundamentally, especially early part of the season, so much of the messaging is the team that's typically fundamentally better and takes care of the football is going to win the game. And so for Sed, the focus is just get back to our fundamentals, put ourselves in good position, both through contact, without contact, to make sure that we're staying up. And look, he performed at a high level the week before through some contact, made some great catches across the middle. There were some tight windows. The touchdown certainly through contact. So just got to hone in fundamentally to make sure that, we're being efficient at the top of the route.
About the protection that Joe's getting, and then you look at Green Bay, and they just seem to bring pressure from everywhere. And not only do they bring pressure, they're getting home.
Right. Yeah, they create pressure with the front they have. It's an excellent front seven, excellent front four. Linebackers do a nice job in their blitz. I've coached against Half, in college when he was at BC, and he's done a great job since then of, really utilizing disguise, really utilizing ways to attack your protection plan. So he does a great job putting those guys. Obviously, they get a big trade here right before the season, which helps create the pressure. So, protecting the quarterback is really a job of all 11. It's the receivers being on time. It's the quarterback taking the proper footwork. It's the backs for tight ends in their protection work. It's the line being able to sort through calls. So we definitely have a challenge with this front. They do a great job both in their plan and they have really, really good personnel up front and across the board. So it's going to take our entire group to protect the quarterback, and it takes the quarterback also to protect the quarterback. So we look forward to the challenge and putting our players in a position to have that success.
How much has, Jack only had the one drive against Cincinnati. You guys obviously had a plan with Dewan in Baltimore. Just the continuity and the consistency. How difficult has it been to kind of get that established up front this early on the season?
Yeah, we felt like we had it during training camp. I mean, that position group, it's 5 guys, but it's really one, right? I mean, they have to see things the same way. They have to work together in combination, both run and pass. So I do think as the year goes on, you start to get more comfortable with the guy that's next to you. You start to be able to feel and play off one another. But again, we've had that group for the majority of training camp. Cornelius is a guy who's taken a lot of reps for us throughout camp, whether it be on a day where maybe somebody was limited or just moving on both sides. So confidence in that, but it will continue to build and grow within that group.
What has Micah Parsons added to, as you said, a really good front already, but what has he added and where are you seeing that?
I mean, he's a great player, right? We go against one very similar every day in practice. You just got to be hyper aware of where he is. You got to be hyper aware. They do a nice job of moving him around, not just kind of being stationary where you can own in on it. They did the same thing with him in Dallas where they were able to move him around. He's so versatile in his rush. He's so versatile and athletically what he can do. He's able to do those things. So you got to have awareness of where he is. Again, it takes all 11 of us to defeat a really good rush like that, but he's definitely a matchup that, there's guys across the league that you face, but, he's in that upper echelon for sure.
And last week, just you're looking for consistency out of Dewan. So how do you think he went from week 1 to week 2, and particularly in the run game, what do you see out of him?
Yeah, I thought there was some growth. I thought there was there was a comfort level in what we were doing. He had a couple really good reps on some downhill runs. There's some things we want to clean up fundamentally, but it goes for all of our young players, like the consistency, the growth. I mean, Dewan's still a young player in this league with terms of how many snaps he's played. So us pushing him fundamentally in the right direction to gain that consistency, to gain the trust in his footwork is something that we continue to harp on like we do with all of our guys. We want to make sure that we celebrate where his successes are and where he's improving and to continue to focus on these couple things that we want to improve on.
Are they moving him around a bunch, and who's really going to have to be worried about him? Is it going to be a lot of...
We all got to worry about him. Like he's moving all over the field. They do a nice job inside, outside, different packages for him. So, like I said, I think all of us own the part of protecting the quarterback and being in a good protection plan and getting the ball out. So he's definitely one that we're going to be hyper aware for.
I was talking yesterday about resisting the urge to press when the offense isn't going the way you want it to go. How do you recognize when a quarterback is pressing?
Yeah, playing outside of the structure, I think. When we're playing in rhythm, playing on time, playing what the defense has given us, following our reads, not trying to do something extra outside the structure of offense. Typically a guy presses, it means he's trying to make a play that's not really there, or that we haven't really designed it for. It's easier said than done, right? You get frustrated within a game. It's human nature to try to make a play, make something happen. And, for Joe, I think he understands that. I think he knows that. He's played long enough. He understands the way we're built and how we, want to have success. So it's something we continue to reiterate. And, you don't want to stifle him to make throws and make big plays, but, you want him to recognize for any player, like, hey, these are the looks that we want those big plays to occur. When we don't get that, this is the answer.
All right, time for the matchup. It's presented by Ballybet. Ballybet Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly. For a look at how the Browns offense will attempt to attack this Packers defense, we turn it over to Dr. Z.
They're really good on defense, too. This is the number 3 total defense, number 4 scoring defense, number 2 rush defense, number 10 pass defense at 189.5 yards, which, by the way, it just tells you how bad passing offense has been through 2 weeks. That's
down.
189 is 10th?
Yeah. What do you think that is?
I don't know.
Because we don't see the statistical...
Sluggish in the early going. Offenses need more time to catch up.
There's nobody who's been, lights out. Spinning it.
But I mean, Detroit puts up 55 the week they don't play these guys.
Yeah, that part's true too. Yeah,
but no,
there are some, but by and large, it's just not like what it. But we're in a stretch of this too, where quarterback play hasn't. There was a time when it was 70%. Everybody's approaching 5,000, or several were approaching 5,000 yards, and it's been kind of down for the last couple of years.
Yeah, this is a very good Green Bay Packers team. They have been very successful. Last time the Browns beat the Packers at home was 1992. Now, granted, they haven't played all that often. They played again in 95, 09, and 17, which is a game that was lost in overtime. And the Browns thought maybe he could be able to get one, which would have been the one win that season. This is a really good defense. They are going to play a ton of zone coverage. They're going to play a ton of zone, 80%. They don't really blitz, 18%. because they know they can get home. They play cover 3 as their number one coverage 30% of the time, cover 2 23%, cover 6 19%. So the cover 2, cover 6 42% of the time. That's third most cover 2, fourth most cover 6. So that's going to be too high. That's going to force you to bleed the ball down the field. Middle of the field open is 50.7% of the time, 10th most in the NFL. So this is a team that is going to really make you work. They only play cover 1 15%, so that's towards the bottom of the league. Not a lot of man coverage here. They're going to play zone. They're going to get home with their 4. They've got a great front. Micah Parsons, obviously, he's got 1.5 sacks. Devontae Wyatt is a stud. This was their first-round pick in 22. He had 5+ sacks in 23 and 24, already 2 sacks this season. Rashawn Gary was a Pro Bowler last year. He's got 2.5 sacks. Lucas Van Ness, their first-rounder in 23, has a 0.5 sack and 2 tackles for loss. So 8 sacks already. 7.5 from their defensive line. Their corners have been outstanding. They've got Xavier McKinney, who was the league leader in interceptions last year with 8 at safety. This is just a good team. They play their defense very well for Jeff Hafley. Like I said, they're going to get after you with 4. They're not going to blitz much. It's just 18% towards the bottom of the league in blitz rate. And they're just sound. They'll disguise the middle of the field a little bit. If they do, it means they show 2 high safeties about 80% of the time. They'll rotate out of it about 30% or basically just under half of those times they rotate out of it. They'll end up playing middle of the field open 50%. They'll end up not, rotating it down to go from open to closed about 23% of those times. So again, just really good, sound. They give up no explosives. And so this is a game where the Browns have to run the football. They've got to run the football. Now, this is the number 2 run defense in the league. Hasn't been easy to do. Everybody who's played them knows they have to run the football. And so far, Washington hasn't been able to run the football, and Detroit wasn't able to run the football. And Detroit is a very good running football team. So they're brutal. It's a tough matchup. They're very good. It's going to be a death by 1,000 cuts, and you hope to just catch them at some point where you can get them in that single high, run them out of those 2 highs, get them into single high, and then you can hopefully get some shots down the field. And you get some of those combination routes where you run the clear out and the dig behind it, or you run deep overs with a clear out on the side, or if you get him in man, maybe some double moves and an opportunity to get down the field. So that's really what it's going to have to be. You got to take the football away from them offensively or defensively, and then offensively you cannot turn it over. And that's plagued us. We talked about 9 straight games with 2 or more giveaways.
Yeah.
You're not going to win doing that. So this is a game where you're going to have to be really, really sound. Ken Dorsey, that's funny. More John Mayer to me. I think
I'm with you. Yeah,
I'm
with you. Yeah, I think you have that right. Ken Dorsey was tall.
Very tall.
Like, that guy's tall, but Ken Dorsey
was won a national championship,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. John Mayer, probably better resume.
In some ways.
Yeah.
That's for
Real
sure.
quick.
The ones that matter. Maybe. Go ahead.
Can I interest you in an injury update out of Packers practice today?
Let's go right ahead, Gibby.
Tight end Tucker Kraft suffered a left knee injury in today's practice. Whoa. Kraft will have it fully evaluated. The belief it is not a long-term issue, but he got dinged up today at practice.
Wow. Yeah, last week coming off a game where he had 6 catches, career high 124 yards and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs and Tucker Kraft are the only 2 teammates in the league to have through 2 weeks more than 140 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they've done it. So yeah, that would be a big
top
one.
2 receivers, bud.
Yeah, that'd be a big one.
If he were to miss as well. So good job out of you, Gibby. That's some big news there on that side of things. It's crazy because, as you mentioned, neither Detroit nor Washington to get the run game going. You have to. We can't be one-dimensional. We can't be. You have to find some way to get it going, and you're going to be able to throw. You saw Quinshon with 10 carries for 61 last week. That I'm sure will get amped up a little bit. You got 3 guys you can throw at them, keep them fresh, and you really have to stay patient offensively. The last thing that we can do is try to chase them down or anything like that. That's when you get into trouble with the pass rush. So you've got to get the run game going somehow, some way. I understand 2 teams that have better pedigrees than we do right now or higher expectations did not, but you need to get that figured out a little.
Here are just kind of just the facts at this point because they're not fun facts.
No.
But against the Packers so far, here I'll just kind of go position by position for you. It's one of the things I like to do. So quarterback so far, Goff, 31 of 39. That's why I said death by 1,000 cuts. High percentage, but they went for just 225 yards, so just over 5 yards an attempt. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 88 rating. Second week was Jaden Daniels, and these were juggernauts of offenses last year. 24 of 42, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 85 rating, and ran for just 17 yards, which for him is pretty low. Running backs, they held the Lions running backs to 44 yards on 20 carries. 44 yards on 20 carries. Gibbs, 9 for 19. David Montgomery, 11 for 25. That does not happen. The Commanders, Eckler and Bill, 12 carries, 34 yards. So they have stopped running backs from running the football so far this year to the tune of 2.4 yards per carry. Wide receivers have been held in check as well. Amon-Ra St. Brown against them, 4 catches, 45 yards. Last week had 112 and 3 touchdowns against me in fantasy. No big deal for the kid. And then Commanders. So they haven't allowed a single receiver, an individual wide receiver so far, to have 50 yards receiving in a game. Not a single receiver has had 50 yards receiving in a game.
Yeah.
And then in tight ends, which is our leading receiver right now in terms of receptions, is our tight end. Tight ends have had success against them. Laporta had 6 for 79, and last week Zach had 6 for 64 and touchdowns. So if there is, as we talked about earlier, when you attack this team, it's got to be in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it's got to be really good. I think Hafley will be one of those guys at the end of this season that ends up with a head coaching job. He's got that experience at Boston College. He was a dominant defensive coordinator at Ohio State. He's done that now here for a while. It just seems like he will be on a short list of teams looking to hire new coaches. Jeff Hafley will be at the top of that list. Feel your game day cooler with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, smooth, real brewed tea, 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea, keep it twisted. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly. Your Fantasy Minute coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Think you know the ultimate Browns fan nominated Browns Supervan in your life now for their chance to win 2 tickets, an exclusive trip to Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco, California. Oh, baby. Does this include staying with young Pedro? Oh, jeez.
So locked in.
Can't
It'd
even.
be awesome if you turn your mic.
So dialed.
He is.
Dialed.
He's so locked in. Can you imagine if this this ultimate Browns giveaway includes a trip to stay with Pedro?
It should. It should.
I mean, maybe he should.
What's his pizza?
Maybe he should take someone out on
Gaspari's.
scholarship for the night.
That'd be right.
Yeah. Take him to Gaspari's.
Gaspari's, that's his spot. That's where he goes. All right, time for your Fantasy Minute presented by Scaleco. Scaleco Capital, proud private equity partner of your Cleveland Browns. Let's start here. The question is, which Browns player are you playing this week in fantasy? Let me ask you this. How would you handle our running back situation as a fantasy player?
Hey, Quinshon Judkins is the only one you can play, I think, at this point with the way that it is now. Dylan Sampson's been so good, but until we get clear indication that he's going to take – that it becomes just a 2 running back situation where it's Judkins and Sampson, as long as Jordan Ford is in there taking valuable touches, it's very hard.
Yeah. How do you handle all right, this is in your wheelhouse. What is your philosophy on guys you draft high who have performed slowly early?
It's week 3, so you've got to stick with them, but it's troubling, and there's a lot of it.
There's a lot of it
out there. I mean, Brian Thomas right now is
right
maybe the biggest disaster in fantasy football.
Oh, Beamsy wants to punch me in the throat over Marion Hampton.
Marion Hampton's been a disaster.
He's been a disaster.
Genty's been a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all
those are
picks.
first-round guys. Hampton was maybe
and Brian
a second.
Thomas was.
But
They're
Thomas
late
was right,
first,
late
early
first,
second.
Yeah, they're the guys on the comeback, or like Genty was a top 10 pick. I think in most leagues he was a top 10 pick, and it's
disaster.
Not. But at the same time, it's hard because at the same time you're like, okay, now I bench him, and then he finally breaks out.
Right. So you got to stick with it for a little while.
How do you handle something like Javonte Williams, who has been a
you play him.
massive?
Yeah, automatic. He's in.
Yeah, it's amazing though. Like last week, we were like, oh, wait one more week, and then he was big again.
Yeah, he's in.
Yeah, so that's the way that goes.
One of the things you just look at it, if a running back is getting 80% plus of the snaps, like you play that person.
That's a good way to do it. Yeah, who's getting the carries?
Just getting the opportunities. Targets plus carries. You chart snap percentage and targets plus carries, and then chart. Back when I used to do this, you chart. Okay, who's getting the work in the red zone? Who's getting the work at the goal line? If somebody's checking all of those, I'm getting 15 plus targets per carries. I'm getting 75% of the snaps. I'm getting the red zone work, getting the goal. That's you play them every week because it's just about opportunity.
Yeah, it's just about touches. Waiver wire has come and gone at this point. Who are some guys who have been? Who are maybe some guys who are potentially who could still be out there that you have your eye on?
Yeah, I would. So running backs right now, if I'm sure that Bill Krosky-Merritt has been picked up everywhere, but what you're looking at, Tyler Algier, if he's on a waiver wire, that's a guy that you want to have on your team. Woody Marks in Houston, that's a guy that you want to have on our team because if something were to happen to in Houston, I think Marks is going to get naturally a bigger role as the season goes on. But in Atlanta, Algier still gets plenty of touches, but if Bijan went down, he's a 20-touch guy immediately. So if the guys like that are on your waiver wire, those are guys that you want to go and you want to get. From a wide receiver perspective, if you're in a PPR league, for example, I think you want to make sure Miles Sanders, for example, in Dallas is a good one. Jaden Blue's not, so you pick him up. Jerry McNichols, I think, will get a lot of catches now in Washington in Eckler's role. I think that Bill is going to get many more carries, but I still think he's going to catch the football quite a bit. Tyquan Thornton in Kansas City, we saw what he did, and his ability to get deep. That's a good thing, right? When you look at going in the wide receivers, so Troy Franklin.
Yep,
I think is his first name Troy, the kid out of Oregon. Feels like it should be.
Sure.
Like that kid's on a lot of waiver wires. He played 82% of the snaps last week. He got a lot of looks. It feels like they did a lot of things where he was the first read schemed into the play. So he's a guy that's somebody you want to add to your repertoire. I really think that Hunter Renfrow is going to be a productive player for you in PPR formats, and he's on a lot of waiver wires right now. So guys like that who are just involved, high target volume. Wan'Dale Robinson had the big game last week, so he probably got scooped up. But in terms of guys that are maybe flying a little bit below under the radar right now, Franklin had a great game last week. I like what he's doing. If Quentin Johnston's still out there for the Chargers, he's got to get picked up. Keenan Allen at this point's an every week play.
Yeah.
He just is. And that was one that I think a lot of people missed on. So yeah, that's kind of those are some of the moves. And then what I'd really be looking for is, working the defensive matchups. Colts are an excellent matchup for you this week. Kicker is a position it's easy to bail on. If you don't like your kickers doing, the kid in Tennessee's having a great start. Romo just had 5 field goal attempts in Atlanta. That's a team that always produces a lot of field goal attempts. So those are guys that you could pick up at those positions. But from a defensive standpoint, like I said, Falcons get Carolina this week. Chiefs get the Giants. You like the Colts against Tennessee this week. So there are a lot of defenses I think that you can give a look to as well.
Good job out of you.
There you go.
Browns fans, this one's one of the local business platform presented by Minuteman in association with Medical Mutual is Precision Alarm Tech. Locally owned in Euclid, Precision Alarm Tech was founded with a simple yet powerful vision, one man, a truck, and a dream to build a business rooted in service, integrity, and respect. We'll open up that mailbag coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns High School Game of the Week, presented by Ohio Cat, showcases top matchups, rising stars across Northeast Ohio. Each week, fans vote for the game they want to see, and the winning team earns $3K in funding, plus spotlight coverage on the Browns' social channels. This week's finalists are Massillon versus St. Ed's, McKinley and Perry, Alliance and Canton Central Catholic, and Maple Heights and Willoughby South. Go ahead, place your votes, and we will see how all of those things track. Time for the mailbag. Send your questions into Gibbe at Browns_daily. Also on the YouTube stream, youtube.com/Browns. Hello, Gibbe.
Gentlemen, hi.
Oh, how are you?
Let's get right down to it. First and foremost, injury report is out officially today for your Cleveland Browns. Some good news. Corey Bojorquez, full participant in practice.
Good. Great news.
Excellent.
So we're good there. In terms of everything else, I mean, it's status quo. Batonio not practicing. Obviously, Carter limited, trying to get back from that concussion. Conklin was limited. Denzel Ward, full participant for 2 straight days. The Packers, obviously, the big news is Kraft with the knee. I mean, they have him limited, but I think it's just because he started practicing and then went down.
Yeah, that's a big one to keep on to pay attention to on that side.
Yeah, that's definitely going to merit watching.
Yep.
It is time for a little mailbag, and you can tweet us your questions. By the way, Guardians sweep the Tigers. How about that?
Is that the movie with the kid from The Office or Parks and Rec?
I thought it was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Parks and Rec.
I thought that was like Groot.
Oh, Guardian of the Galaxy.
Oh, we're making a run. It's the damn playoff
Only
chase.
a game and a half back of the wild card and
165 teams make the playoffs.
No, they don't.
I like
there is like
Drax.
7 months of the baseball season.
Played by Bautista.
I'm thrilled for him. Great run. It's awesome.
Yes.
Like I
not for me, but God
bring
bless
it home.
him. Bring it home. God bless.
Do it.
Remarkable job by their manager, given all the
that's Chris
given all
Rose's
the things
boy.
they've had to go up against. And
Chris Rose's boy.
Yeah.
Siciliano's all jacked up about it.
Yeah, he is excited.
all right.
I mean, what would be like? Okay, so like, is getting in enough? Is that a victory, Gibbe?
Yes.
Okay, so once it happens,
Yeah, because
then you lose and then you're done.
There
and
are
that's it.
players in Major League Baseball making $700 million.
Well,
and I don't know if the payroll of the Cleveland Guardians, Kevin, you might know this.
Well, it ain't
Is it even 100?
It's barely 100, but
There
I
you
mean,
go.
look,
Little
this
engine
team
that could.
usually, when they make the playoffs, they don't go in playing their best baseball either. So, like, if they do somehow make it, we don't know how this run's going to end. If they somehow make it, they are the hottest team, one of the hottest teams in baseball. And that does play a factor in the playoffs. You get in, you get in the dance, you got a chance.
Every game has been a playoff game for them for 2 weeks. So congratulations to them. They sweep the Motor City Kitties.
That was
up
very
in
cool to see.
Detroit.
It's funny how you and I mean, this is a little bit of a bit. Obviously, we're aware that they're winning and all that stuff.
Yep.
But it is an amazing thing how
I'm happy for my buddy Scotty Monaco. He's a big Guards fan.
loves it. Yeah, I'm happy for all those folks that are locked in every day. But it's for me, it's one of those things where like my kids don't play it, and so they don't watch any of it.
Yep.
And so I only have so much headspace. And I don't
Sure.
have headspace this time of year for baseball. So
I'm trying to be college
I'm happy
football
for
Nate.
him. Yeah, you got college football Nate. I got too much going on.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for him. God
Yeah.
bless.
Just wanted
Same.
to pass that along at least. You can
I think
tweet
you
your
had an
questions
agenda,
to
Gibby. A little
at
more.
It
Browns
felt like it. Yeah, I didn't think it was
You're
just
trying to
passing
stick
along.
_daily.
Felt like it.
YouTube.com/Browns on the YouTube chat if you want to drop a line. Love a Dog today kicks us off. If you could have the powers of Teen Wolf, what sport would you play? Following up on our conversation from yesterday.
I think I would play basketball. It feels like
He's pretty good at it.
and great money.
Guaranteed contracts.
Guaranteed contracts. Yeah, I think basketball is the right answer.
Baseball would be in a similar vein from a guaranteed money standpoint. I'll tell you one that would be the biggest juxtaposition for like how shocking it would be golf. Like if you showed up on the PGA Tour as Teen Wolf, and all of a sudden you could drive it 425, and your dog sense could read putts. And
I just feel like you wouldn't have the touch.
Well, why not? I mean, if Asa Woody's got great touch, and she's not even a wolf.
I don't know.
Have you seen a wolf move?
G-Man says hockey. You might be.
Well, you got
to laying people out.
All
there.
the physical things would be great, but like, who's the sponsor on the Wolf on the PGA Tour? Like when he
Grayson.
shows up in full
Grayson.
Oh God, that's perfect.
Come
Throws right up with the Wolf and the Grayson. Come on.
Come on.
Can you imagine showing up at Augusta as a wolf? Imagine the champions dinner.
It'd be pretty good. What's on the menu? Sheep.
A lot of sheep. How's it cooked?
Raw.
Not.
Still
Bloody.
alive.
Enjoy it. Still
caramba.
remarkable that, like, a couple of dribbles, toss the ball to the referee. All right, we're good to go. Nobody worry about it. The wolf isn't going to eat any of you.
Yeah.
Like, who? Why wasn't anyone concerned that the wolf would go eat the spectators?
Yeah. But maybe there might be a
He's a
screw
wolf, for
loose
God's
and the
sakes.
wolf would go sideways on it.
Come on.
So I have a question here from Ed Halinsky.
All right.
I looked at his bio. He says radio play-by-play broadcaster, old newspaper guy, WWF WWE magazine editor / employee photographer.
Okay.
All right.
I don't
It's
know.
on the
He's
internet.
got a
It must
few
be
books.
true.
I don't know. He's got some stuff going on.
Yep.
Good or bad, what's been surprising with the Browns so far through 2 games?
Bad, I think, would be our inability to run block.
And then really to not be able to get any explosives in the pass game.
Yeah.
I would say good.
I'd say good. The rookies just have been exactly what you wanted them to be. I think it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, that's definitely it. I'm trying to think we knew Carson would be a stud.
We
so
didn't
that's
know
not
the whole
that
linebacker
surprising.
room was going to be
Was
as
gonna
good,
play.
I think. as
There's one,
they are.
Devin Bush.
Yeah.
Devin Bush has
Devin
been
Bush has been a
fantastic.
stud to start the season. Former first-round
yeah.
pick. He's flying around. He's been great.
Joe tweets at the show, how big does the spider or spiders have to be for you to hypothetically pack the family up and burn the house down? We saw one the other night leaving the sports bar in Baltimore.
Really?
There was a web between 2
Yeah.
parking signs, and this thing was as big as a fist. And I was like, nope, that's it, done.
If it's one, I'm not as concerned. If it's more like an
you
arachnophobia
don't-
situation, I'm out, gone.
Yeah, I think that would be almost anything, though. If anything was just in the masses,
Yeah.
Like if we ever reached a point where there was a mass of mice, in my ceiling, I would burn the house. I'm not dealing with that. So I think any of those things would be the same. Snakes, all of it I'd feel the same about all of it.
Snakes and spiders would be worse for me. For you, it'd be some type of bird.
Yeah, you just don't really get bird infestation.
No, you don't get a lot of bird infestations. You're right.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with that too much. Snakes, I'm not crazy about. None of them though bug
not
me.
crazy about.
I would have no problem eradicating any of those things. The bird would be the thing. If a bat got in my house, because they fly at night where we live. I see them all the time flying.
Yep.
Just sucking down insects. Beamsy can't stand it. He runs like a bat out of hell. When he sees them, he's gone like a missile. But I like them. But if they were in the house and I had to
Would
get
not
one
like
out,
that. No.
that wouldn't be. I wouldn't be
like
as
it.
crazy about that.
Brownie in AK, otherwise known as, he says #free Gibby.
Of course,
I got charged. How about this? I got charged by about a 7-foot brown bear in my driveway a few weeks ago.
Oh my goodness!
So this is fake you in Alaska.
I made it back to the house just in time. Jeez. Not a huge deal. I've been charged several times. Get your BP up, though. What's your guys' worst / scariest experience with an animal?
Well,
I don't need any experience with a bear. I can assure you.
Well,
that.
so 2 for me. 1 in Puerto Vallarta. The golf course at the place we had the timeshare was El Tigre, the tiger.
The tiger, yeah.
And they had tigers in pens.
Okay.
There. And the tigers had a baby tiger. So there was a baby tiger that was about the size of a German shepherd.
Okay.
And it was, I guess, maybe a toddler tiger. And it was with the greenskeeper walking around on this leash or whatever, just walking around, hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
The first hole had a river, or a very small river, but a little creek that went up the left side of the fairway. And I saw the tiger, and this guy's sitting there. It's like a dog. He's sitting there petting.
Yeah.
It's great, all that. And so I go to come over, and I said, can I see the tiger? He's like, sure. So I pet the tiger and all that. And the tiger was actually down in the creek at this point. So it was when I went to go see him.
Yeah,
He's
right.
down there kind of just getting a little water. Couldn't have been nicer. Pet him. Fur felt really cool. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm petting a baby. When else am I going to do that in my life?
Right.
And as I went to go up, so it was like a little creek, I went up the embankment, and I kind of slipped and had my back to it. And the next thing I felt was,
come on.
My leg is fully in its mouth,
How big is the tiger?
It was like a German Shepherd.
Wow.
That's a problem.
So I look down. The guy's like yelling at it in Spanish, and I don't move. And it just kind of like went like this. I think it was just playing with me.
Probably. Yeah.
It didn't even break the skin or anything like that. But for a second, I was like, oh my God. It's like, and my dad's watching this happen. And my dad's like, am I going to watch my son's leg get bitten off by a tiger in Puerto Vallarta?
Was he still sucking down his ice cream and coffee?
I was going to say, did he just keep going and be like, hey,
so
dummy, why'd you turn your back on it?
That's
like,
what the guy said,
you?
is you never turn your back on it.
Never.
And
okay. Well,
okay.
Playing golf, Doug. Like, what do you want?
So that was one. The other one was I was in Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
For cross country. I did cross country my junior year, so I didn't have to do basketball conditioning with our very unfun coach.
Smart.
Private school.
Yep.
And so I'm running, and we're like going on these paths. You know, it's like Tahoe. We're on this path, and like on each side of the path is high brush, I would call it, and obviously a bunch of trees and whatnot. And I'm running, and I was always very good towards the end of the race because then I got to stop running.
Yeah.
Wasn't as fast the rest of the time.
Yeah.
I'm cruising, and I'm kind of in this like area by myself, and all of a sudden I hear rustling behind me, so I stop. I turn around, and out comes, it had to be a brown bear.
Yeah.
I would think. In Lake Tahoe?
I don't, or black.
It was not black.
Really. But sometimes black bears have brown would be grizzly. I don't know if they have brown bears in Lake Tahoe or not.
Let's look at them.
In Montana, we have black bears and we have grizzlies.
Right.
So I don't know if brown bears matriculate down that way.
Tahoe.
Like what he's referring to, fake Gibby in Alaska is referring to like an Alaskan brown is the way that I read that. And they're bigger.
What are you laughing at?
They're
Maybe
bigger than a
it's
grizzly
real.
and bigger than,
man.
I think the only thing bigger than them might be a polar bear, but they're bigger than grizzlies.
No, thank you.
Be aware. So black bear. Okay, it was a black bear.
Yeah, I didn't think that. Yeah.
Anyway, it was quite big.
Yeah.
So it comes out of this thing. It stops. It looks at me. I'm looking at it. I'm just like, there's nobody coming.
No.
So he kind of looks at me. I look at it. It kind of like stands up for a second, looks at me. I'm like, I'm about to be eaten by a bear. And I just kind of stood there and, they said, you go like,
get big.
So I was like,
yep.
And then he just like sat back down and then ran into the bush. And I was just like, I ran the fastest I've ever run in my life.
Carl Lewis.
I was like, oh man, I would have smoked Usain Bolt. Like, goodbye. So those are my two. I'm sure you have.
I've got a great.
You have to have many.
I mean, I've been attacked by hawks and eagles and owls.
Attacked?
Yeah. I've had interactions and altercations with rattlesnakes. I've been gators in the south playing golf that I've run cross paths with. Many times with bears and cougars and so forth. Moose are terrifying if you ever come across one of those and they're not in the right mood. That's not great. I would just tell the one that comes to mind. I'll just real quickly.
Yeah, let's do it.
We were we were on a cattle drive. I was probably Beamsy's age, I would say, like 11-ish, and saw a grizzly bear on the horizon. We're moving cows and saw a grizzly bear on the horizon. Jeez. And you just kind of keep going, and you're packing and stuff because this is in the brochure. But at the same time, as we kept going, you'd lose him for a minute, and then he'd get a little closer, and then closer,
so
and
now
then
he's tracking
closer.
you.
And I'm like, oh, we're being hunted.
Yeah.
That's what this is. We're now being hunted is how this is going to go. Now, I wasn't that terrified because he's not going to choose me on a horse over a cow. Correct. But I also am not really interested in having the conversation with him about you can have that, but don't come at me.
Yep.
That conversation. So that's one off the top of the head. But, yeah, there's been a lot.
So what ended up happening?
Never came near.
Never came near.
He got probably within 100 yards, but then never came closer. So I don't know if it was just the rustling, but he steered clear. So yeah. But
I'm just glad that tiger didn't eat my leg.
Yeah, that would have sucked, dude.
In the final 2 minutes of this segment, I give you Bobby question.
Bobby! Hey, Bobby!
Which band / artist, dead or alive, would play at your funeral? Would you want to play at your funeral? Your grammar, not great.
Jeez, that's dark, Bobby.
That's a real dark one. I might say Kansas for Dust in the Wind, and I'd like Will Ferrell to come sing it for
Blue?
me. Yeah,
You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy. That's a tough one to top.
I mean, I'm not answering that seriously. I can only give a farcical answer.
No.
What's your favorite place of all the places you've traveled?
Maui.
Croatia.
If you had to delete all but 3 apps from your smartphone, which one would you keep?
I would like to delete all but 3.
I would keep email, text, and phone. That's it.
That's it. Yep. AccuWeather.
Maybe.
One of us has
I
to
don't
keep
know.
AccuWeather.
One of us got to keep AccuWeather just to put you in your place, Gibby.
Yeah.
Fine. We'll see. You have to sing karaoke. What song do you pick?
I would always. I think it's always. I don't do karaoke, but if I did in this scenario, in fact, now that I've only done it once in my life.
That's awful. That's a bad job.
No, I'm terrible.
Doesn't matter.
I've only done it once in my life, and I did Friends in Low Places, and everybody sang with me. And so
got to get the sing-along song.
which is what the Buckeyes are struggling with. They're trying to do a sing-along song at the end of the first quarter, which is too early.
You've
and they have a
recommended
song.
some things.
They did a song that nobody knows, and so they're playing it, and it's got a cool video, but nobody knows the song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the minimum barrier to entry for a stadium
Very well
sing-along
known.
is everybody has to know the song. So that would be mine. Do you have a karaoke song?
I've typically done things by Snoop.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It's just easy. People like
Sweet
it. It's
Caroline,
fun music.
baby.
Sweet. Yeah, it's good. See,
You get
that's
everybody
why that
together,
works. That's
you-
why
you start working
all
the
of that.
room.
Anytime they're like in down there, they were like, boy, we really would like something like what they have at LSU with Calling on Baton Rouge or Dixieland Delight at Alabama. Well, everybody knows those songs.
But didn't you give them some like Blink 182
I gave
song?
them all the. I gave them
All the small things?
All the small things, and they tried it, but they didn't tell people when they were going to do it. And you have to let them know, man. You got to let them know.
Gotta let them know.
All right, we got a Thursday nighter. We'll pick it coming up next. So much more to come. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Join Z and Gerard tonight, 7 to 8, Kevin Stefanski Show, live, West Park Station, Cleveland's Cam's Corner neighborhood. Stop by and meet Browns tackle DeJuan Jones. Register to win autographed Browns merch and compliments of our friends at Bud Light. We have a Thursday nighter, Gibbon.
Dolphins, maybe the worst team in the National Football League. On the road. How long have these people been drinking today? The Bills hosting the Dolphins. Bills Mafia, go.
30.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Awesome
I
if
think
you
we
turn
see
your
it the
mic
same
on,
way.
but you suck.
Dolphins have no chance. Mike McDaniel going to be gone.
Gonna be
after
fired.
this one.
Probably
Gonna be
tonight.
fired. Probably tonight.
Yeah.
Bills by 857 on a Thursday.
It couldn't even get big enough. There's
no,
nothing
there's
that
not
would
a
make
line.
it big enough.
No.
All right.
If it was 850, still taking the Bills.
We'll be back tomorrow. Join Z and Gerard tonight at Cam's Corner at West Park Station. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland runs daily 850 ESPN Cleveland.